So, is there such a thing called uncancelable?
Well, if you're referring to me, yes. But anyone else, they're very cancelable.
So is MacG cancelable?
Yes, very much so.
How?
Very easily. Monetary or,
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you
It is
slid
what it
out
is.
of it.
It's not that I slid out of it. Yes, there isn't one billionaire that can say I made my money, right? Making products produced by black people, consumed by black people, distributed by black people, or amongst black people. I can say that. I've made millions off of my art. Made by black people. No white person gave any direction, instruction, creative, whatever. No white person was ever the target or anything else. Never.
So you want to claim that you are well versed with South Africa. You could read it better than Julius Malema.
Any Scots Mapuma can read South Africa better than Julius Malema. Those put together. Then when you then put other smaller bodies underneath as little satellites, you can have Basetas everywhere.
So, you see, the reason I'm drawn to the idea of Baseta is multifaceted. The first one is the young man, King Hlongwane, is brave to want to do this monumental, almost a mutual friend with a white person like these guys in particular. I'm talking about the relationship between Penuel and Rob Hessoff.
Biggest liars. We've never seen them without makeup. You understand what I'm saying? Never seen them without a weave, with their own natural hair.
Yeah.
Don't even know if those teeth are real.
Ish.
They won't know.
Ish.
But I spoke about this, and Luna, you didn't listen to me. I said, how are you guys allowing this young boy, Nasty C, to be an ambassador for Johnny Walker?
Ish.
And then a couple months later, 21 kids die at Enyobeni Tavern. And Rose Penny has had 30-something years in the media industry. She's seen it. She's come and gone. Get your action. I paid the cost. You understand? I had to duck bullets. I had to leave my dad while he's on chemotherapy at the age of 70.
Let's start mashing politically incorrect. It's very Nota Nhlamulo Baloyi. It's like a full circle now. It's very all the four polarizing figures of Soweto. Well, he'll tell us why he accepts when we call him a Sowetan. And then, number one to the podcast. I mean, this man does more podcasts than any person. And he brings light to podcasters. He's a gem for podcasters. So these four people that you are seeing on the screen, well, Nota himself, of course, Nziki, Nhlanhla, and of course Ike.
Come on.
These people are the reason why I opened this space.
How?
And they are the reason why it's called politically incorrect. And I've always wondered, and this is the opening one. I'm not going to make him to do introductions and stuff because you know him. If you're a figure like yourself, how do you make money in this economy that is fraught with cancellations and taking people out of gigs? How do you make money? How do you live in corporate? Do you live in the gig economy? How do you find relevance in economic space, of course? Because everyone, like corporate, we are told corporate doesn't want to touch people like you. Even brands don't want to touch people like you. How do you make income?
I make art.
You make art.
And my art is valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
So, is there such a thing called uncancelable?
Well, if you're referring to me, yes. But anyone else, they're very cancelable.
So is MacG cancelable?
Yes, very much so.
How?
Very easily. You take away sponsorships, take away monetization, and it becomes very difficult to keep such a big ship running.
Ish.
Yeah.
So it's dangerous being MacG. Being a podcaster is very dangerous.
Well, if you're big like MacG,
Yeah.
To maintain the shape that he is, you must remember, once he downgrades, the audience then turns off.
Ish.
Yeah. So right now he's trapped in the position that he is, and he's trapped in a growth trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's growth or death.
So I don't have ideas that are nice to people to discuss with. So it has always been a problem. So when I was listening to American podcasters, I think it's Joe Rogan. They spoke about something called what velocity? Escape velocity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this escape velocity phenomenon. Of course, it comes from science and rocket science, where So
it comes from where we were.
Where?
At Bry.
Yeah, Bry Maestro.
Yeah, opposite there.
Yes.
Who's there?
Aries.
Yeah, but he's what? He's escaped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's escape velocity.
Yeah. So what they say, I think inside they call it like if you run 40,000 kilometers per hour, so that's how you escape the gravitational pull. But
26,000 kilometers per hour.
I think it's around 40.
No.
It's 11.
26,000 kilometers per hour. That's how you escape the gravitational pull. That's how you get out of orbit.
Okay.
I mean, I've been to a rocket launch. I've been to Starbase. I've actually watched a rocket go up.
Really?
Yes.
Where? At
Starbase. It's Elon Musk's rocket. The first one that he sent up. I was there. Yeah. At Boca Chica. It's now a city now. It's now an official city. It's its own municipality. It was part of Cameron County.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now it's its own area.
Oh, that's brilliant. So the way they were framing it, so they left it from science. They are talking about it as when you have escaped the pulls of, now you can be free. Like, maybe let me just call Tiff Chapel for instance. I can't remember.
No, it doesn't have escape velocity.
Yeah, so people who've got escape velocity, like
there's no one in Hollywood who's got escape velocity. The only person who's escaped is Kanye.
Kanye.
Oh yeah.
But he was Kanye, man.
It's not that Gamorata. It's like Kanye is like I am part of Kanye's DNA. I'm one of his offspring.
Yeah. So, but then wasn't he shot down? His billions were taken away, and people were saying, of course, it means that he was made.
No, but he did say that those billions were made. He did say that they're fabrication. He did say that, listen, Forbes should have already declared me a billionaire. I've showed them the receipts, what they need. I showed them all the accounting. I showed them all the figures. And the only reason that they didn't put me as a billionaire first is because they made a deal to make Jay-Z the first rap billionaire. So it was a media, it's a PR thing. But being a billionaire, like, it's about like the assets, the value of the assets. Like, let me say, right now, all my art that I've ever done, I want to sell it for $1 billion. I'm offering it for $1 billion. That's it. I've named my price. I'm now a billionaire. Thank you.
So, like now?
Yes, I'm just saying. If you want to buy my art, everything I've ever done, it's $1 billion now.
Let's continue. What I'm trying to get at is there anyone who can escape this velocity, who can escape not being cancelable, who can freely speak their mind? Because it's something that a lot of people want to say, but there are a lot of things that people want to say, and of course, I mean,
there's consequences for everything you say. It's about whether you're willing to deal with the consequences. You know what I mean? Are you willing to sit in prison?
No, of course not.
I am. You understand? That's why I'm uncancelable. Because I was willing to go to prison for what I believed in.
Did you apologize to...
for what? No,
to the Afrikaners?
No, the Afrikaners, that is a different thing. That is an economic thing. It's got nothing to do with cancellation. I didn't apologize because they were going to cancel me. There was financial implications for it. I was already dealing with a lot of court cases. I was dealing with, a rape case, a harassment case, So I didn't need, so I was strategic about it. I played my case, right? Already they wanted to give me certain sanctions, and I played my case in such a convincing manner that they said, okay, fine, we'll take away any monetary or,
Yeah.
And
So you
It is
slid
what it
out
is.
of it.
It's not that I slid out of it. Yes, I finessed it.
Okay.
Yeah, you must understand that I also represent a lot of people that follow in my footsteps. So now they can, through sanctioning me, sanction everyone else. Just in the same way that they try to sanction all podcasters by targeting MacG. So if they target the biggest one and they make him shake, then all of the rest of you are going to fall in line, right? So did you think that the whites made me fall in line? No. They just stopped me from, comparing them to animals. But they're still Neanderthals. You know what I mean? It's a science. Like, I can't, yeah. So
No.
that's it. And they've accepted it. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
In general.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that why are you obsessed with the apology? Why are you not actually understanding the purpose? People also, they watch the full episode. If you watch the full episode, I tell you exactly what I'm going to do. At first I say, this is what Kanye does. He does performance art. And then I show you a piece of performance art. And then you're like, damn it. Nota can do performance art and act a whole entire thing for an entire hour, do an entire scene for an entire hour, never break character, not once. Break character, continue with it, end the episode, let the whole world blow up. You understand what I'm saying? And the only reason I do that is because I'm an audacious young black man. And if I'm able to do it, there's other kids that say, damn, as a black kid, I can also do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't do it in a show-off way. You know what I mean? I don't go to Louis Vuitton and then I say, yeah, I closed Louis Vuitton, let me shut it down. What's the purpose of that? So you're showing off that you can buy white people's things. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I can make the richest white man in the world shake, the richest white man. Out of all the richest, when you can't even make the Nigerian at Vibes on Main shake. You're busy ordering bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles and no response. It's just piano, bottles of Dom Perignon on top of you. You're not the richest man in the world. You understand? I didn't make Dangote shake. A guy who's 100 times richer than Dangote.
So let's talk about billionaires.
Which ones?
South African black billionaires.
No,
and I'm using the word
there's
black.
no such thing. There's no such thing.
So we grew up.
There's South African billionaire proxies that are black, but all South African billionaires are white. There isn't one billionaire that can say, I made my money, right? Making products produced by black people, consumed by black people, distributed by black people, or amongst black people. I can say that. I've made millions off of my art. Made by black people. No white person gave any direction, instruction, creative, whatever. No white person was ever the target or anything else. Never. You know what I mean? Went gas to gas. Gas to gas. The last time I was here, I was probably going to Lucas Moripe.
So tell me.
No, I was at Sourceville Center. I was speaking at Sourceville Center. Sourceville Central. Yeah.
I keep paying the whole Sourceville Atteridgeville.
Yeah, but I'm just saying Sourceville Central.
Yeah.
You know the library.
Yeah.
You guys don't do anything with that big arena there. It can fit like 3,000 people, I think. Almost. Why don't you guys do something there?
Now we'll leave it up to my comrades there. They know how to fill venues. So there's a lady called Bianca van Veek. She went hard on who's this? The white billionaire from Cape Town. All of them are from Cape Town. Barkema.
The Hersoff.
Hersoff.
Yeah.
She said she actually doesn't believe he's a billionaire.
No, they are billionaires. They're billionaires. It's just that he hasn't gotten the billions yet, because most of them are he's going to inherit them. But AVI, Anglo-Val Industries, they're you buy INJ, don't you? Heart of the home, don't you? It's there in your fridge. Yeah, you use Zero coffee, right? And they're Canderel, and then come on. So why wouldn't you believe he's a billionaire? Your whole entire pantry, your cupboard is filled with their products.
He himself.
Coffee Ace. What?
They own the.
Come on, man. Like, come on. Come on. Angloval Industries.
So if you are fine with him calling him a millionaire,
When his dad dies, he gets $1 billion. When Patrice's dad died, did Patrice get $1 billion from that? No. You understand? Patrice is a BEE partner. You understand? He's a proxy. He's a billionaire by proxy. He didn't work. He didn't earn that well.
Okay, so our billionaires differ from Dangote?
I mean, well, yes. Dangote is a slave trader. That's where he inherited his wealth from. His family were slave traders. They owned slaves.
Ish.
The rich in Nigeria are slave traders. That's how they got rich.
So
they stopped selling palm oil and started selling, you know.
Yeah, tell us more.
No, I'm just saying they started selling human beings.
So is a what?
All of them.
Second or third generation?
He's what you call his parents owned slaves. Slavery in Nigeria ended in the 70s. Like, it finally ended in the 70s. It was still practiced. There were big campaigns. The British came in the 1950s to end slavery. Imagine, they started it in the 1830s. Took them over 100 years. And there's still some sort of effective slavery. There's still some people who are bought into families. It's just that the slavery, when it happens on the African continent with the caste system in Nigeria, is not the same as the transatlantic slave trade, which was very brutal.
So, tell me more about the caste in Nigeria. Does it work similar to
the Indian caste system?
Yeah. So, who are the upper classes and who would be the untouchables?
I don't know. I think it's the Igbo.
The Igbos.
Yeah. Other ones that are. I think it's the Igbos are the ones.
Okay.
And the Yorubas are one of the upper classes, I think.
So it has nothing to do with the Muslim upper north areas?
It's got nothing. It's
because those guys are rich.
No, it's been there. It's been there. You must remember the slave trade happened around the coast. Yeah. So it's mostly the coastal
and
kingdoms, not the Benin Empire and all of those. Right there. All the way up until the Jollof Empire in Senegal and the Gambia.
Come back to South Africa. These billionaires, I'm very interested in them.
Why? They're useless.
They probably sold some things. Either they sold us, they sold themselves, they sold something, they became a commodity.
They sold all of us. Their commodity
was us.
They're a weapon and they're a contagion, a parasite and a cancer. Yes.
So I argue when I note that the most difficult thing
is killing them.
Yeah.
That's the difficult one.
The most difficult thing as an African is actually realizing that there is no political party in this modern politics. There is no political party that can take us out of this quagmire that we are in.
No, that's stupid.
Is there?
No, that's stupid. That's stupid. Like, the mere fact that there's even an expectation of salvation at the hands of a political party, that's the dumbest thing. Because each and every single man has it in his own hand to dictate his own future. And our crime as black people is that we refuse to take responsibility for anything. For ourselves, can't take responsibility for ourselves, can't take responsibility for our actions, can't take responsibility for our futures. And that's why we leave it in the hands of politicians. Yeah. There's no way any politician would be able to enter Merimi while we're still living in Kukus. Doesn't matter what he's coming to do or what he's coming to say. He's not entering. No, not one camera will take a picture of us in that poverty. Not ENCA, not SABC. They will not come and take pictures of our suffering and show us on the television to entertain other people who are living in better conditions at our expense.
That's what Malema calls anarchy. He says we will get to that place.
No.
And we'll have an uncontrolled revolution.
No. You see, Malema is a politician. So sometimes he says things to get a reaction out of certain people. He cannot speak to them directly, but he can speak to them in public so that they know that the message is out there.
So, if as South Africans, because I believe there's no political party that can take us out of this, chiefly because whatever they do, whatever policies they would come up with, whatever is it that they're going to come up with, would have been sponsored. And you just confirmed that we don't have black billionaires. So there is no one, and these proxies would be someone to Cape Town.
I said that on that episode on the House Corner. I said that there's not one billionaire that can say. I said Mike Teke can't say, hey. Mike Teke can say, listen, I'm cancelling all the orders of coal on the way to Richards Bay. I want Germany to write a letter condemning the actions of Trump. Otherwise, they must go and get the coal where it's more expensive and tell the Germans why the electricity prices are going up again.
Can it be done?
It's very simple. It's very easy.
Repercussions?
The repercussions. What are the repercussions? Is that Germany is going to come out at the European Union and condemn the statements. Yes, it won't be Ursula von der Leyen saying, "Hell yes, yeah, we're coming in with loans." No. It changes the entire dynamic of how we speak. We change the entire picture.
There's no free man. There's no free man because you just spoke about there's no one who's uncancelable. We're looking at the Sahel region now. It pains me that that young man, Traore, is going to be assassinated in our lifetime. And we know it's going to happen.
No, I doubt it. No.
We know it's going to happen.
No, I doubt it. I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe that we're different now. The same way I believe in myself, I believe in my peers.
So what's different now from the Thomas Sankara period?
Is that we weren't willing to kill them.
So what would stop people wanting to take Traore down?
That they're going to get killed.
Those people?
Yeah. There's too many Africans in Europe. It's too many.
Tell me about Sankara.
Too many, I'm just saying.
Tell me about
Forget
Sankara.
about Africans climbing onto buildings to save babies.
Yes, and to win a citizenship.
Just imagine those babies flying with no one to catch them. When their mothers are at work. Who cares for those babies? It's a very different time now. You understand? Our mothers were willing to even breastfeed the children of our enemies. Their granddaughters are doing 400,000 abortions a year. They'll think nothing of killing a white baby. They won't think anything. They dump babies in dustbins. This is what's become of us. You need to understand, we're a very different breed.
So you reckon if they shake the Sahel region, Burkina Faso, and
the entire black world will erupt. The same way the Black Lives Matter erupted in America, and that's only because it was America. So the rest of us as Africans, we're like, yeah, we're in solidarity, but we can't really do much. But it did have an effect all over the African continent. The NSARS movement started protesting more aggressively. There was international solidarity for the protests then. You've never seen protests like that get extreme since the end of the civil war in Nigeria.
I repeat this quite often. When I was in Tembisa, Umkasana, they told me that they are outnumbered by Mozambicans, Zimbabweans, and Malawians. And so you would never hear xenophobic problems there because they are outnumbered.
Yeah, but what is Tembisa anyway?
Yeah, are you saying in France, because of our big presence there, if something happens to our beloved Traore, they're going to have it in their backyard now?
Yeah.
And it was different.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Much different. Much different.
Why aren't our, should I call them presidents, our heads of states in Africa are so silent?
I mean, what can they do? They can't acknowledge that they're being shown up. So they much rather ignore it. It's the same way like a lot of these people try to treat me. It's like, they treat me like if I walk into a stadium, 80% of the people won't know who I am. It's like, yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm like, I mean, damn it, you must be insane. Yeah, it's the killing out.
Ne?
You understand? So I come from a very different environment. I didn't earn an inheritance. I wasn't put into an industry because I found my family members there or anything. I built myself from the ground up, and I built myself by taking kids out of the township and turning them into superstars all over the continent. You understand what I'm saying? It's a very different picture. Very different picture, So, yeah, you get into a privileged position where you get to know the essence of the country. You know what I mean? I know South Africans like very, very well. You know what I mean? Even now more than I've been to even Sun City. It taught me another perspective that I hadn't seen and I wouldn't have been able to see without that experience. So, our politicians, I mean, just think of our politician. Okay, let's forget the guys. I mean, what do you expect Julius to know about South Africa? Where has he ever seen South Africa?
Well, he travels
in an ANC
from
convoy.
his. Yeah, no, I mean.
I'm just saying. You just think about that. That's not seeing South Africa.
How would you?
That's walking on a yellow carpet and now a red carpet.
So what's this?
It's like a German
being
tourist.
Embedded in a township culture, living there.
Not township culture. Being embedded in South Africa. One township teaches you nothing except that township. Nothing. There's no township I haven't been to. You understand what I'm saying? There isn't. That I haven't stayed. That I don't have business associates. You understand what I'm saying?
Guys.
That's it.
You know where Linyenye is?
Well, I might not know the name. I might not, but I think I know. Where's Linyenye?
I'm asking.
No, tell me.
Linyenye is a township in Zane.
Oh, yes, of course. I've been there. No, Nkwankwa is even far.
Yeah.
Whether it's Mwametwa, Linyenye, you understand?
Yeah.
Whatever. All the way.
So
Zanin is my father's ancestral homeland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying?
From Mkwati village. In
Mkwati.
Bulwe. Yeah.
So you want to claim that you are well versed with South Africa. You could read it better than Julius Malema.
Any Scots Mapuma can read South Africa better than Julius Malema right now.
What do you mean? And
he's crisscrossed the country as someone who's engaging with people who are there to see him, not there because there's the promise of a political organization behind him. As an individual. Do you understand? He's lived a normal life, built himself, built a business without having to be employed somewhere. Yes, maybe he's been employed or whatever. You can't tell me someone who started with Kosas in high school, then goes to tertiary, is then in the youth league, is then, a provincial executive member, and then is a leader of his own political party. You know what I mean? That person will never get a true experience.
No, but I want to argue that someone like Julius would know the ground and the dynamics of South Africa better than Scots would.
Okay. Because he's more politically astute. He's probably older. Yes.
He's probably older. He's probably traveled. And
but he doesn't experience it in the same way. The
experience might be different.
But that's the thing. It's about that experience. You need to have a real experience. What I'm trying to say is that Julius has never lived and worked as a real youth. That's why he doesn't know the price of bread.
When Julius was
I'm just saying, he doesn't know the price of bread. Forget that Julius was groomed from the time they found him when he was in high school. Julius is mentored by Malema Motlanthe. This is part of the succession plan, the same way Thabo Mbeki groomed Mbuyiseni Ndlozi.
You know, Julius is the greatest politician of our time.
No.
In his generation.
No.
No one surpasses Julius.
No.
Who would be better than Julius?
Just wait and see.
No,
You'll
who would be better than Julius?
No, he's not.
Okay,
not.
let's get back to
He's
our...
not. He can't be.
No, he has to be.
He can't be.
But look,
he can't be greater than Zuma.
No, of course. I mean, that is of a different generation.
No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What has Julius done that Zuma hasn't done? Nothing.
You see, now it's unfair.
But Zuma's done a lot that Julius hasn't done. The man he came out of prison, led the ANC into negotiations, led the province, came into the top executives of the NEC, went up to deputy presidency, competed against one of the most, mythological figures in the ANC. Dynastic. Broke the dynasty of the Mbekis. Do you understand that? Do you remember what an earthquake Polokwane was? Polokwane changed the ANC forever. Completely. Changed South Africa forever. Completely. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah. The mere fact that we're not all indoctrinated by neoliberal, policy, whatever, is because we saw the alternative. And that was only because of Zuma. And the rest of the world where we could look at the alternative was sanctioned or censored. So you can never compare. Can never compare.
But then you agree with me.
What?
Julius, for example, would say Julius could not have, in his words, he says, history did not allow me.
Let me tell you
biologically,
something.
it was impossible for
Julius
him
Malema
to
would
be
not
in
be
exile.
Julius Malema without Jacob Zuma.
True story.
Jacob Zuma would still be Jacob Zuma with or without Julius Malema.
Because they lived in different times.
It's not about the different times. They're occupying right now, the current time. Everything they've done in the same timeline. When Jacob Zuma was in KZN, this guy was in Limpopo as a student. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, organizing strikes for TEFSA. You understand what I'm saying?
Generations.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying, organizing those TEFSA strikes. I used to watch those TEFSA strikes because my sister was studying in TNG.
Uh-huh.
You understand? So I know that. That's like what? Late 90s. They were still politically active within the same dispensation. Let's talk about when they were politicians. When did Zuma become a politician? In 1994. Or in 1990, let's say. When the ANC became unbanned, he became a politician. You could say the same. Julius then became a politician when? In the early 90s as well. So, as politicians, their careers are not, there isn't a 10-year age gap. In terms of their careers as politicians.
I'm not going to argue this one because it's apples and oranges.
But you can't compare a freedom fighter to a politician. Otherwise, we're going to say, okay, but Steve Biko is the greatest politician because he's not alive, but his ideas still live on today. Was Steve Biko a politician? Come on.
Okay, let's do
understand?
this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. 1994 election. Is it true that you advised your father on who to vote for?
I advised my father like any sensible child would advise.
No, it's particularly
at that point in time. As a 4-year-old, I told my father to vote for the ANC. I mean, to vote for Nelson Mandela, not the ANC, because I didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Yes. And plus, I come from an SACP household. So, my uncles were members of the SACP. So already in the house, before the elections came about, we were already hearing about how the ANC guys are selling out. You know what I mean? That was already the talk.
Do you find the problem that South Africans don't actually fathom the idea that you could have been... I'm trying to find the correct word. a genius child for you, because they're battling with the idea that a 4-year-old could advise the father on political decisions. Does it bother you?
It's got nothing to do with that. I was very exposed. You see, so
At 4 years.
At that point in time, my uncle stayed in Northwick. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the things that were happening were there. By Olifantsfontein, by Development Bank of South Africa, right there in Country View. Right? So if my uncle stays in Northwick, after their meetings there in Country View, where they're having a braai, in Northwick. So each of these conversations about how the country is going to be constructed are happening while I'm eating.
So what you're saying, you had...
So what I'm saying is that when you were learning nursery rhymes as a child, me now I was learning about what this country is going to become.
At 4 years. You know who,
there's nothing I could do. I couldn't close my ears and pretend I didn't hear.
You know who Lukhanyo Kalata is? So Lukhanyo Kalata is a journalist, seasoned journalist. Yeah, so his father was one of the Craddock Four who were taken out by, special branch police. And so they went through the TRC and so what is happening now is Cyril has said, okay, let's have a commission of inquiry and let us...
Cyril is just trying to look like a radical. That's all it is.
Let me
put it to you like this, right? They've got no policies that they can pass. They've got no acts that they can pass because they don't have a majority anymore. And any of the policies that they want to pass, the DA, who is their coalition partner, will never allow them to pass because they go against everything that the DA stands for. They've already challenged them on the policies the acts that they've already passed in the 6th administration. So the 7th administration is a no-go area. So Cyril is not going to be able to pass any legislation that's going to help win him more votes or secure more votes. So what this is a controlled demolition of the ANC. They want to ensure that where Cyril leaves the ANC, whoever takes it over will inherit a body that will be a non-entity. So Cyril is trying his best to drive the ANC below DA support. That is the goal. And hoping that the DA can gain more support, enough support to be the number one party, with the ANC at number 2. And hopefully the MK at number 3. But that is the challenge. Will he be able to keep the MK at number 3 with this controlled demolition? Now the MK has got one choice to make. It's either they stop this budget from being passed and convince the EFF to join with them in stopping this budget being passed, or they just give up. Because if they don't do anything decisive before these elections to end this GNU is going to use its power to ensure that they end them at these next elections. The same way they use their power to suppress them at the previous elections.
What I was getting at is you being at 4, Lukhanyo Kalata being 4 years when his father was taken out. Well, Lukhanyo says, he doesn't remember much. So
I remember everything. I remember when my brother was born. I was 2 years old and 9 days. No, 2 years old and 20 days, sorry. He was on the 9th of April. I was born on the 20th of March. I remember the day perfectly. I remember what I did on the days after that. I remember where I went. I remember the hospital he was born at Garden City Clinic. I remember it had a water fountain on the circle outside back in the day. This is 1992. Garden City has changed. They've renovated it since then.
We've got photographic memory of everything.
It's not about a photographic memory. I've got a distinct memory because my uncle took me there. My uncle was one of the biggest bank and jewelry store robbers in Soweto at the time.
Who's he?
Well, doesn't matter. He died in 1995. He's my mom's brother.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to expose his other brothers because they're still active.
All right.
Not
Yeah,
in criminality. Not in criminality. No, they were the criminals. He was the criminals. He helped them escape the country and skip the border.
Yeah.
You know.
So this TRC,
which I watched as a child out of interest.
So this TRC, it was a compromise. We are told it was a compromise when the people were in Kodesa to say, don't worry, after this, we'll soften the blow by having a TRC, and then afterwards, those who went to the TRC, then they will be forgiven. But there are people who do not go to the TRC. Others went. But the main
The
story now,
borders of this world, yeah.
yeah, the main story now is there are people who then need to be pursued. And
Yeah.
when the report came, it was given to Thabo Mbeki. This is what Mampela Rampela says. It was given to Thabo Mbeki.
Yeah.
Thabo Mbeki deliberately stopped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't sign it
Yeah,
off
there was lots of news about that. It wasn't just that case. There was two things. There were two parallel processes going on. There was also the process that was supposed to be taken to the United Nations about sanctioning the US companies that help South African companies evade sanctions during that time. You know, it was even kicked to touch. I think a couple public protectors were given the responsibility of gathering evidence within that case. Even this Thabo Mbeki thing, it was even referred to the public protector to gather further evidence. Each of the public protectors just passed it on and passed it on and passed it on and left it.
So
you want to blame one person?
no.
The ANC
I want to
is
say
a body. Anybody who's at the head of the ANC is a puppet of whoever's in charge of the ANC. Whether it be Mandela, whether it be Thabo Mbeki, whether it be Kgalema Motlanthe, whether it be Jacob Zuma, as you've seen, evidenced. Thabo Mbeki, evidenced. And Cyril Ramaphosa, soon to be seen.
Cyril Ramaphosa, people are saying he's doing it deliberately to expose Thabo Mbeki.
No, it's got nothing to do with exposing Thabo Mbeki. It's got to do with it,
Trying to save the ANC.
trying to serve the base within the ANC that thinks that he sold out. So he needs to throw down some points. Bella Bill, NHI, Expropriation Act, you know? But those are old things.
Yeah.
And you're running out of them. These are bills that have been sitting on your desk. These are overdue bills. Past due bills. You are a late payer. And you want us to clap.
So recently, what had just happened, I think yesterday, the DA went to court. Remember, there was a period just after '94 when a lot of white people said they cannot live under black rule, so they went to Australia. Famously.
I know I lived with white people. Did you live with white people in '94?
No.
I did.
Yeah.
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 I know. They were my neighbors and then they weren't.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're calling them at different hours of the day because of time zone differences.
Yeah.
That's how we learned about time zone differences. Yeah.
So you had
I experienced it. I
acquaintances.
watched it. I know.
Yeah.
I saw the white flight.
Yeah.
Yes. I see it. Saw it for myself.
So
And all of them went to go suffer there. There's no better place for a white person to live than in South Africa. Imagine you've got 93% of the population are your servants. I mean, like, what do you mean? Now you want to go to a place where you can't find a Mavis to clean up after you and take care of Yanni, who only speaks one language because he's too dumb to learn any others. You know? So
the ones that you were acquainted to, did they come back?
No. They're working, they're suffering, but they're working.
Too proud to come back.
It's not about too proud to come back. They left because they had things to go and do. That's it. You know what I mean? They had already planned it. They had already committed to it. And once you're committed to it, it is what it is. And plus now, accepting the difference in the value of your work from an income perspective. I mean, you're looking at $7 at the least minimum wage. You know, it's 140 rands an hour. You understand? That's like what? How many times our minimum wage? Like 6 times? Our minimum wage is 27 rand an hour. You know what I mean? So you need to understand that every 10 minutes, an American worker is getting paid what you're getting paid every hour.
Say it again.
Yeah. At minimum wage. Every 10 minutes, an American worker is getting paid what you get paid every hour. They get paid 6 times every hour.
There.
Yeah.
And why do these people work for my 2-3 jobs? And
because cost of living is expensive. Coca-Cola is $1.50 now. So that's 30 rand for a can of Coca-Cola. That's double the price of a can of Coca-Cola in South Africa. Almost triple. 2.5 times.
Can 340 mil, it costs 30 rands there.
It's cost $1 or $1.50. You know. Yeah. Well, every 5.2 hours. Yeah. So they say every 5 to 6 hours. It could get even worse if you go to places like New York. I mean, New York is like double that much. It's 300 rand an hour.
Does any of your intellectual property that you trade with that's going to the US, is it affected in any means by the Trump new rates?
No.
It's excluded. But
It doesn't.
What are the implications for other commodities traded?
It's not a commodity.
People are talking about wines. The value of wine will then get there. It will be a bit pricier. Someone
It will be more expensive. It will
Yeah.
be good. It will be a better product.
Yeah, someone said, then it will
Well,
not
what
be
does the
seen
price
as
tell
cheaper.
you? Price tells you that this is a good product.
And then, so would the blanket rule be that, oh, well, it's fine. Then our things are going to be a bit pricier and a bit more decent, and they're going to be not looked as cheap. Is that
No,
an
it's not
overall?
about that.
Because I want the overall sentiment
No.
about.
The US Treasury is going to make money from selling our products. Therefore, they'll have an incentive to market our products and distribute them. That's it. Yeah.
So we just fold our arms and let.
That's the best thing. Yeah. This guy said, hey, Chief, I also want to make money off of this product when it sells. Why do you want to stop him? Because if he makes money, then he sells more of it, right? Let Uncle Sam sell our products. Thank you. And pay him his tariff. Yeah. Which are those products that affect us? As
So-
landless and black. None of them, because they're talking about agriculture products. That's our biggest export, right? So we don't own the agriculture industry. We don't even have water. They diverted all our waters. That's why our villages are dry. That's why we're poor. That's why we can't farm. It's not that we're lazy. We don't have water. It's not about the land. It's about the water. That's the most important thing. Yes. Why is Lesotho rich? Because they are able to store water in those mountains. Yes, the water reaches them first. And they're able to catch it and then sell it to us. Wow. It's nice being at such a high altitude. That's it. They don't need to dig.
Yeah.
It comes from the sky, their riches.
It's interesting that you spoke about Lesotho. You know what I've done? I've actually checked the numbers. There are more Basotho living in South Africa than in Lesotho.
So
the same
Botswana?
as Botswana and Swaziland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Swaziland,
Swatis.
Swaziland and all these
Swaziland
countries
got
are
less than a
about
million
2 million.
population.
Yeah, they're about 2 million
Yeah.
people on average, and
Yeah.
they live in South Africa more than they live in their countries.
Well, more of them live in South Africa than
Yes.
in their countries because a lot of them are natural South Africans.
Yes.
And
So-
been here for generations. Before 1995,
Yeah.
let's say.
In the
When the
spirit,
Citizenship Act.
in the spirit of building this one Africa thing, whether you believe it or not, would it be so bad to convince each other as Africans to, whether we start as them as provinces or whatever it is, but
No.
we start building up? What is
Leave
wrong
them.
with it?
Leave them. Leave them.
What? So if we leave them, what do we gain?
We allow those kings to still rule.
So you're afraid that because we are not really independent?
Are they malevolent?
I don't know. It's a
Let their people then decide. If they're too malevolent, let them chop off their heads like the French did with Louis. You know, and Maximilian Robespierre will rise and liberate them. What paternal right do we have over those people that now we, you and I, on politically incorrect podcasts, we must discuss whether or not Mswati must be king? You and I as black brothers, we must discuss it. We must act like whites.
You know, I hosted.
We must behave like whites. Whites, they can gather.
Yeah.
Mike Sham and Rob Hersoff, and they can discuss what they're going to do with their blacks.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Can you hear that? We
Yeah.
take such offense
Yeah.
to that. I've got people that watch content that I'm a part of in Swaziland, in Lesotho as well. I would not disrespect their nation, their sovereignty, their king by me now giving an opinion about something that I would never have any right to change anyway. I can't vote in those countries. Yeah.
So as a bystander, you reckon Mike Sherman and Rob Herzog, of both
I'm
are
just
podcasters.
an example. Yeah, I'm
Both are
making an example.
podcasters.
Okay, Alec Hawk. Yeah. Because he's the real racist out of all of them. He even had Neil De Beer call EFF supporters cockroaches and MK voters cockroaches. He's like, there's two things that'll survive a nuclear. It's the cockroaches and Jacob Zuma. And he said, oh, well, possibly also amongst them would be some EFF supporters.
Okay. So
After reporting me to the Human Rights Commission for comparing black people to the dogs that we keep in your yard and white people to the dogs that you can't keep in your yard. Fortunately for us, there's dogs in this yard.
So you were dragged, but he wasn't.
He hasn't been dragged, I'm just saying. He said it this past weekend. Who knows? Maybe someone might drag him. If someone wants to, they can. They'll have all the evidence. It's there. It's got over 150,000 views on YouTube. You know what I mean? That's a case of criminal injury on a class level. You know, that's
The
a
DA has
sanctionable
called
thing.
us dogs.
I mean, exactly. And they had to apologize for that and withdraw it. Yeah.
The DA has bent our flag.
Yeah, oh my goodness. The DA has celebrated racist Indians killing us.
The
Like
DA,
they were chasing cowboys.
the DA has, well, the ceremonial mother of DA, Gogo Helen, has said, and
The
she's
outgoing.
she's not outgoing. She's
No,
still
she's
there.
outgoing.
No one is going to
There's
stop
no
her.
way the Rob Hersops of this world are going to allow that woman to still be in charge when they feel like white masculinity is at its weakest. They feel castrated, these white men. Why do you think they're lashing out so much? They're trying to show themselves. At which point in time have we heard so much from white men? Why is it so important for white men to speak for themselves all of a sudden? Usually they deploy white women to speak for them. All of a sudden now they're taking it upon themselves to say, listen, we're not going to let white women speak for us. We're going to speak on our own behalf. It's because they're under threat.
But for not generations, but for
When
decades, they
the
were happy
dog
with
owner
Helen representing.
comes out, you know that that dog has been beaten. When you see the owner of the dog, you must know the dog has been beaten. It's been beaten. It's been beaten. You look at University of Pretoria. We killed them there first. It doesn't matter how they try to tip the scales. At the end of the day, there's more black CAs that have been produced by that institution than white CAs could possibly produced. Same thing goes for the University of Johannesburg, which used to be the Rand Afrikaaners Universiteit. Same thing goes for the Witwatersrand Universiteit. You know, and now it's coming to Universiteit van Kaapstad, right? But around them, that radical, the UWC, they've been churning them out. Then the CPUT, which has even upgraded itself, it's been churning them out. So for the lack of supply of knowledge and skills being produced by UCT for the black community, CPUT and UWC are, picking up the slack. And Limpopo is a different story.
Why?
None of those Afrikaners in Zani know anything about engineering. They're not engineers. They're not qualified. They can go and learn how to be mechanics at Soltech. That's it.
What are you saying?
But our metallurgists are being produced there at Turfloop. You understand? Yes. They're going there to Palabora to get that phosphate out, to get that manganese out. You understand? Where's Northern? It's in Limpopo.
Tavazimbi side.
Limpopo. That's platinum. Yeah.
Beggars for steel port.
Chromium.
That's what it's
The thing is that our Zaga is underground. You can't see it.
So
these guys are dwindling in numbers. They're leaving They're not making enough babies. Why do you want to fight them? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's no need to sing kill the Boer, guys. There's no need. Naturally already. What we need to be focusing on is ourselves. How do we raise more kids? Educate more kids? Stop this thing of leaving each girl with one baby. You ruin the girl. A girl that can't produce 4 babies or more, she's ruined. She's ruined. She hasn't fully served out her purpose. You understand? And now, because she wants to serve out her purpose, now she's got 4 baby daddies or 5 baby daddies. And I advise that rather than 2 baby daddies. I mean, if you already got 2 baby daddies, you might as well have 5 or 6, at least for financial purposes. It'll serve all of them well. And if you take them all to one school, at least you can have discount of siblings. As long as those babies are educated. Doesn't matter whether their parents are drunkards or whatever. Those drunkard parents can produce the next doctors, the next engineers, the next rocket scientists. Selakolisi was produced by drunkards anyway.
1 or 2?
Doesn't matter. If the father's a drunkard and the mother chose that to be the father, they're both drunkards. One is drunk in love, the other one is drunk in liquor. But they produced a 2-time Springbok winning captain.
The best Springbok of all time.
Rugby captain of all time.
The best Springbok of all time.
I'm just saying. Step aside John Olomo. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maya drunkard! Drunkard little!
I want us to talk about
just think about that. The thing is, this is that we look at all these things. We see the drunkard in our township and everything else. Those are the dogs we were talking about earlier. Their ears are ringing.
Yeah, no.
so I'm just saying, this drunkard that you diss, this uncle, whatever, he could be the father of the next opera singer, the next Pretty Yende.
Yeah.
Yes. She could be singing for the king. But her father was a pauper.
So I want us to talk about like emancipation and, maybe development of African people, like the things that, is it in the culture, the way we do things, or is it really because the system was designed to stop our progress? There's an organization that is just started called Batsonga Bachangana, Aihlanganeni. So
I don't agree with that one.
So what
Bachangane must go to their Zulu fathers there.
So they're saying
they're not part of us. They were conquered by the Zulus. Shangans are Zulus. Yes, they speak our language.
Yes.
So
what they are saying is, Nota Baloyi, they've spent a lot of time spending time pointing each other to say, but we
even live far away from each other.
Yeah, but what they're saying is they've just decided, and Nhlamulo is one of the founders there.
Okay.
He's
Tsonga.
Yeah, he's Tsonga. And they have decided to say, let's bury the hatchet, let's unite. Those few differences must not,
So, it's a big difference. They are part of another kingdom. They are part of the Zulu nation. They must go and be part of their nation.
But
we must allow it. It's a settled matter.
Yeah.
They lived under a Zulu king. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a settled matter. We cannot now resettle them amongst us because they belong to another people and they need to contribute to that other people and they need to unite with that people as well. Because when you unite with them, with that people, you connect, not just KZN, Pongola, Mpumalanga, Swaziland,
Limpopo, Mozambique.
Not even Limpopo side. They're more in Mpumalanga side, Hoedspruit, Ekenhoek, Bushbuck Ridge, all that area. All the way up to Swaziland, Mozambique, Malawi, and then to the bottom of Tanzania.
Eastern Limpopo and
That's
Eastern
everything.
Zimbabwe.
Eastern Transvaal, Mpumalanga.
Yeah.
All the way up until Tanzania. In the south, where there's Maasai is. You understand what I'm saying? So you bring them as part of a larger group. The same way the ones that are in Zimbabwe must decide for themselves whether they are going to, be colonized by the Shona forever or not. Because that's what happened. The Shona collaborated. They created a tribe or a nation out of different tribes, the Kalangas and whoever else, the Tongas, and they created this Shona group. And now this Shona group, because they're in the majority, they were then sent to resist the Ndebeles, who were fighting, who resisted colonization.
Is it true the Shonas they were colonized without putting up a fight?
They didn't put up a fight. They were created. There was no such thing as a Shona person. There were different groups. It's just like if you take Shangans, Tsongas, and Vendas, and then now you call them Gazas. Now they are Gazas. And now you send the Gazas to attack Hoshimambur, Hoshish Kukun, and the Bedis. And Molechai. Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's the exact same situation. So had that situation then happened, then now the Gazas would now rule over, let's say if it's Greater Limpopo, let's just say, the Gaza would now rule over Matebele, Amlechane, they'd rule over the Bedis, they'd rule over the Tswanas down from Tawazimbi all the way to Zeras.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
that's the Zimbabwe situation. So those guys they call themselves Mtwagazis. They must decide whether they're going to go for self-determination. They're going to go to the United Nations. They're going to apply for self-determination. They're going to separate themselves from Zimbabwe, which is something that is possible because they occupy a geographic region within Zimbabwe, right? Or they're going to continue being this minority that's underrepresented in a country that is forcing a fictitious tribal identity into a cultural hegemony that has got no true indigenous roots. You know, what is the traditional attire of the Shonas or the traditional things? They don't have such.
But Bumtogazi they have.
Yes.
Bumtogazi are actually, Bumtogazi are actually Zulus in Mtwagazi because they call it Ndebele Mtwagazi by themselves. At the Munyati River, that's like the physical boundary between Mashona land, and so they call themselves that. And the attempt has been Nota. They've been trying for a long time to get this recognition, and in vain. Same way
because they're not asking their brothers down south for assistance.
No, the ANC is too much.
That's the thing. Not political powers. They need to ask their brothers down south for assistance.
No, they've been even now. I think a few weeks ago they've been having.
When did they go to Mkungundlovu?
I've got pictures, but I'll share it with you. So
they went there.
They do, yes. The Mtwagazis, they've got a link. Remember, they're even in Malawi and stuff. They do have a link.
Ngonis,
Yes, I think the problem now is because of the current situation. Go Mrs. Zulu by the dog. I think by the dog is having stability issues with his family and stuff. That's why it doesn't. But what I wanted to say is Barotse in above the Bumtwagazi. Not betrayed, but they were ignored by Kenneth Kaunda, who said after this dispensation, what we're going to do, we're going to unite the whole country. And when independence came, that's what they believed. Remember Barotse ke baluti ba bolela Spedu tshwana le nna ke sna le Setswana. The previous
not just only that, what's the other one? I forgot the Limba or something.
Malemba.
Yeah, Malema.
No, Malemba in Zimbabwe and South Africa. But this one's ke Balozi. Balozi, yes. I
met them.
So those people, but it's like Batsuna Lebo Mtwagazi. They are an offshoot of a nation that is bigger somewhere. So they are mistreated there. And they were thinking that they could form their own conclaves or Ranyanyana there, and they're getting a whip. They're not winning.
Well, I mean, they've got their own lands there.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're purchasing the land or now they're now establishing something. It's already been there for a long time. So they should be fighting for their own self-determination.
But they are minorities, and they've been.
That's why they should ask their brothers down here. They should go to the United Nations. They should go everywhere. They should go to the EU. The same way AfriForum fights. They should also fight for themselves. That's what I'm trying to say, is that we need to stop relying on these political parties, because they're waiting for one of their political parties to be merciful upon them.
The reason I don't subscribe to that, and I would tell Bumtogazi the same thing, Liberals, I will tell them the same thing, is I would want, well, Swaziland, Botswana, and Lesotho to be our provinces, maybe as a start, because we are much, the bigger we are, the better. This is me.
Yeah, the problem is we've got a very big country. Our country is gigantic, eh?
Very big.
It's very big.
This weekend, I spent this weekend with people from Namibia. Well,
that was also part of our country.
Yeah, so those people, remember, they've got our South African Green ID books. They are, well, of course, maybe the Overhereros, when they speak Overherero, Overnama, and then it becomes very difficult. But those bastards who speak Afrikaans, like the Capenars, those people are that entirely
like everyone in the Northern Cape.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Maybe
in the Northern Cape you speak Afrikaans. When you get to a garage in the Northern Cape, you speak Afrikaans. You see a black person, speak Afrikaans.
Yes.
Because why would they be speaking English? No one knows English there. So these guys need to fight for themselves, just the same way we need to fight for themselves, just the same way Atteridgeville needs to fight for itself. You can't now wait for a Soweto boy to come here to Atteridgeville and save you guys. No. Same way in Soweto we need to save ourselves. Those are our grandmother's houses, not your grandmother's houses. These are your grandmother's houses, not our grandmother's houses. You understand? And what's happening? We're ceding our title deeds to the state because we're fighting amongst our cousins. We can't get our act together.
I was in Khalishiwi.
I've been there too. I love that place.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
Beautiful township.
Yeah.
One of the areas, because they called Kimberley the first town.
It is. First street lights were there.
Yeah, the first bus, the first telephone. Yes.
Everything.
So, Khalishiwi being, of course, the remnants of that town. It's so sad, man, you get there.
It is.
Yeah,
You've
it's
been
very
to the
sad.
big whole museum mine.
Yeah,
They're taking you on a tour of the whole entire thing.
Yeah, and
whitewash history and everything.
The tour that we did was given by a guy called Tumelo Piris. It's
amazing.
It's amazing. And the thing I like about that, it was giving us a cultural perspective and a political perspective of the tour. Not unlike the DBS one, they tell you the mine was different. No, he tells you what white people were doing. And I think I'm releasing it tomorrow. I've just did the part of Sobukwe. I'm releasing it tomorrow. That shows you.
Did you go to Diamonds and Doorings last Easter?
No.
Why? Because it's dead.
Ish. You know, the guy, he tells us how diamonds, before these people came and marketed it.
Diamond. It's the dead mountain of Kimberley.
Yeah, I mean, he has it. Yeah, they say those our Africans, they would hold that thing like a bag full of diamonds, because remember Peruvian one, those just picked up superficially, like so they did not know it was until these people came.
No, it's not about them knowing. No. But the thing is that whether you knew or not, you need to understand how that was created, that whole entire diamond market, how the Oppenheimers, got into that. They got money from the Rothschilds, the Jews, you understand? And they were protecting German interests there. And then they also needed to control the supply, because diamonds had been found in Russia. You know what I mean? This is in the late 19th century. So, the supply of diamonds in Russia was going to take their entire business out. And that's why they even moved from where their business center was in London at the time, which is where they were getting financed, to Antwerp, which is where the center of the diamond trade is now, right now. So if you understand the history of these families, how they were, like, everything that they went through, everything that they did, all the deals that they made, if you read through the accounting logs and everything else, everything is documented. These are companies. There's public records of all this stuff. Just that people don't go through the museums. They go, me, I grew up going to museums. That was my favorite thing to do. My mother used to take me to all the museums, So I still do it to this day. Everywhere I go to museums. That's my first stop.
So your idea is, of course, diametrically opposed to mine, of emancipation is us Africans coming together as one, and you want us to fight independently.
I want us to prioritize. First things first. We've been in conflict for 700 years straight. We haven't stopped. We're still at war. As black people, we've been in conflict. We've been fighting off invaders, colonizers, you name it, in every single form that they came. Where they came, with the gun, or they came with the bullet, the musket, they came with the machine guns, they came with the tanks, then they came with the missiles, they came with the bombers, then they came with the financial slavery. You know what I mean? They came with the drug wars, the demoralization of our people. They've fought us with so many things and we're still alive. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
Just imagine we're still alive. So how resistant are we? We're almost unkillable. And now we're realizing that, damn it, these whites can't kill us. Let's just kill ourselves. Why would we do that? So we're self-destructing. No, let's focus on fighting back properly, cohesively. Create one solid force. Once
so integration is better than
mass,
separate development.
Separate development is the only way.
No.
We need to develop separately. We need to have
but with the idea
foundation.
that we are going to integrate.
No, not with the idea that we're going to integrate. With the idea that once we have our own and we're secured, we're then in a better position to collaborate with others so that we can cooperate.
That part I agree.
Yeah.
That part I agree.
Yeah.
But
we don't want to dominate others. That's
Yes.
not why we're focusing on ourselves. That's not why we're developing ourselves. We're developing ourselves so that we can contribute. We have something to bring to the table. But we're not at the table right now.
Are you a religious person?
Well, I do believe in God, yes.
Okay. Does it bother you that African people have different religious beliefs? Let's talk about the Muslims and the Christians. In Africa, the more north you go in the continent, the more you are likely to become Arabic.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Does it bother you?
No.
In terms of uniting Africans, does it bother you that we see ourselves as Christians and Muslims, Francophone and Anglophone?
I went to Metropolitan Rauco in Brixton, across the road from Forintu High School. Forintu High School is famous as the school where that bus crashed into the West Dean Dam in the 80s, I think, before I was born. One of the biggest bus accidents, I think. 40-something kids were involved and around 20-something died and perished in that water. Right?
Brixton near Auckland Park?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Brixton. In Crosby, Brixton. It used to be called DF Malema School.
Okay.
Yeah. We were mixed up black kids from the township predominantly. I think I was the only one who actually lived in the suburbs or in the northern suburbs. Colored kids from the surrounding area as well. Indian kids of Islamic and Hindu origin or faith or whatever, and all of us were mixed up together. And we all lived together, you know what I mean, go to the same train stations. In South Africa, we all live together. You go to the Western Cape, in the Muslim towns, there's a mosque there. There's the other ones who are Hindu or whatever, the other ones who are Buddhists or whatever the other alternatives. Our faiths don't really determine how we behave. We're not religious, we don't have any orthodox religions that are, part of our national identity. So, yeah.
So,
You had water all this time, you never told me.
Askies.
You got me drinking sugar here.
Askies, I've got plenty of water. This water, you can read it. It says Pan-Africanist School of Economics, Technology and Agriculture.
That's Paseta.
Yeah, that's Paseta.
Yes, yes. Think so.
Yeah. So Paseta is a dream that can work. It's a big dream. And I'm talking about us Africans developing something.
Yeah, but it's not at the practical level yet. Why? Because we're not focusing on postgraduate education. That's what we should be focusing on. We need doctorates, we need PhD, we need theses. written by black people, studied by black people, researched by black people, so that we can have our own voluminous academic body of work. And then we can establish our universities off of the back of that academic work that is ours, of our own. We can't establish Baseta as a university, and when they're studying engineering, it's CJ van der Leyen, Van Donder, and Linder et al.
You know, the struggle, they had to choose a beacon of hope to rally their force under. They said
postgraduate is the way to go.
They
I just
said-
don't have the energy for it, but postgraduate is the way to go. Because what are you doing? You're taking guys who've got master's degrees, so which means they are likely employable, which means they are likely to be able to have an income to back them up. And then all you need to do is create a body where you are able to review and verify that these academics works that you're doing are good enough. You know, get another university to supervise you and guide you, and then you're just building it up. And then you have volunteer, you get guys to volunteer. Let's say you've got the CEO of Transnet, Michelle Phillips. You wanted to do a PhD on railway, whatever it is. You know what I mean? The railway industry in South Africa was constructed and everything else. She does that. You use that PhD then to now get students to study a PhD, and you give them whatever diplomas because of that, based on that. But you are creating the academic work which you are going to be then using to teach and to own that intellectual property. And then you are able to sell that as well. You've now created an asset. You know, the same way the Chinese have created the intellectual properties of the the meltdown proof pebble bed small modular reactors. Yes.
but the modular reactors,
Yes, but they've got
we abandoned it.
I know, but either way, they took what we were working on and now they've innovated on it, and now they own IP which is superior to ours on our shoulders. The same way they did that, we can now establish our own IP on top of what already has been established by bodies such as the University of the Witwatersrand, UCT, etc., Forte, all of those put together. Then when you then put other smaller bodies underneath as little satellites, you can have Basetas everywhere.
So, you see, the reason I'm drawn to the idea of Baseta is multifaceted. The first one is the young man, King Hlongwane, is brave to want to do this monumental, almost, I mean, this is almost Wakanda vibranium kind of vibes, like unrealistic things. But he's brave enough to do it. The rest of us, what we can do is just rally behind it. You don't have to, because to me it's a case of, they say,
No.
Nota Baloyi. I don't have to agree with everything
No. We can't just rally behind this.
Okay.
We need to be practical and effective. Unfortunately, we don't have time to experiment. We're at war. This is wartime. It's just like right now, we're always got this feminism thing. And there's black women are saying, hey, no, but you first, before we liberate us as black people, black women must first get this. It's like, women, we're at war. Right now, you're at home, you're waiting for your soldier to come back and return. As black people, we're at war. We're at war. It's wartime. Everything you need to think wartime. We don't have time to be dealing with these smaller nyana things. We're at war. This is the longest war that any race has ever faced. No race has ever been at war for 7 centuries.
So in other words, you agree with the idea of Baseta, but the time is not right. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm trying to say is that we need to make Baseta work. And we cannot make Baseta work unless we've got authoritative academic work that we own the intellectual property of. And we don't have that without us having our own PhDs. And we don't have that without us having our own postgraduate institution that can now say that you are now a professor of such and such an institution. Because now once I can make you a professor, I can take you around and I can make you find people who are going to bring us more money, more resources to fund this organization that is going to then produce knowledge.
Fix shit, then Baseta would work. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Why can't, while you're fixing shit, let Baseta rise?
No, you can. Both. You can build the plane on a
You can shoot.
Yes.
You can shoot.
What I'm trying to say is that those who are academics, work on your postgraduates. Work on building your own institution that gives you guys PhDs and everything else, so that you guys can upgrade from where you are.
You know, I'm
So
very
you can
proud.
actually utilize that expertise because you're creating intellectual property. That intellectual property has got economic value right now. We need things that have got economic value because what we are suffering from is a capital deficit. These big countries are saying they've got trade deficits, which means they've got capital surpluses, which means we are poor. Yes, they've got underutilized capital.
I'm a proud African man, and whenever in the socials they flaunt these universities they build, they tell us of AfriForum. By the way, that Batsonga Mashangana, it's an antidote to for them to have their own AfriForum. By the way, and so it's a way of saying we are tired of pointing fingers of what other people are doing. Let's do something for ourselves. And this is why, as a proud African, I would say, what would it take for us to do something holistically African? Are we capable of that?
I think we should just focus on our national identity first. Build our nation. I think that we're a
Anything tangible? Smart city?
We're a multi-ethnic nation right now. The biggest thing that we can do right now is to aim for the skies. We need to get involved in space. That is the frontier of technology. Every single thing that has defeated us has been something that has been a technological innovation. And unless we're at the frontier of technological innovations, we're going to be further left behind.
Basetta right there.
We need to build rockets. You understand? And we can only build them in Namibia because they've got the petroleum and they've got the nice location and they're far enough away from us that, you know, they can have their own policies and own political.
But we've got the Karoo. We've got the Karoo.
But the Karoo's under which government?
It's Northern Cape.
No, which government?
Ah, man.
The South African ANC-led government. The government that does not want us to succeed. The government that is slowly collapsing us as a country and all our future prospects so that we can forever be, you know, indentured servants and cheap labor. So
you don't consider religion as a divider and as a delay mechanism, as tools of enslavement and colonialism?
No. All of us need our fallacies and our myths.
You don't think you are you a Christian?
Will I charge into a burning building if I don't believe that God is with me?
Are you a Christian?
Yeah, I'd say that.
So I guess what I'm asking you is, do you believe that you are not a Muslim because your colonizers?
I believe I can choose my belief.
Yeah. But
I believe I choose whatever belief.
You are a Christian now.
Yes.
Because the people who came in ships.
Because I've chosen it. It's got nothing to do. Christianity didn't come in a ship.
Of course, I'm saying
Christianity originated on ethnic land in Ethiopia.
No, you are talking historical.
No, I'm just saying
religion now. Now I'm talking the practical ones that came with the Europeans.
No, those are the churches, not the religion.
Yes.
Yes. Now the churches and the different churches, they split up and everything else, and all of them even have split up, even amongst the white nations that adopted the faith. You know, they've all split up. But what I'm trying to say is that now, what the values that created Christianity were indigenous to that region. Within the Sinai Peninsula, Ethiopia, that whole entire region, which is part of the African continent. It's connected by land.
But what they gave your forefathers, Nota, isn't Orthodox
whatever
religion.
The interpretation, it's not about whether the religion. Those are the beliefs of the civilizations that existed in those times, and those beliefs either succeeded based on how successful the societies that adhere to them were. And the fact that those belief systems still exist means that there were many successful societies that believed in those systems for them to be able to perpetuate, and they were able to drive.
The Huguenots came running.
Yeah.
They came running to our shores.
Yeah.
The Huguenots brought.
And we came running from.
Nah, we didn't come running anywhere.
I'm Tsonga, right? I will tell you now. I'll tell you where the Baloyi. Wait.
That argument of white people saying
it's not about that. It's not about that.
Here.
No, there was no country then. They leave that one. I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Okay.
I'm not going there. I'm just talking about the Baloyi.
Yeah.
The people that are the fathers of the Tsonga nation as a whole. You understand? My clan, right? Isn't the Maasai region in Tanzania comes then down. Why? Because the Arab slaveholders had started taking up the lands. And they were out farming them and they weren't able to compete, and they started moving to lands where those Arabs and the Sultan did not occupy. And then when they came further down, they settled on further lands. They started trading with other people. And then in the 15th century, 1400s, the Portuguese then started, interacting with them. The Portuguese then pushed back the Arabs and kept them up, all the way in Zanzibar. You know what I mean? And up, further up. Pushed them back. We were sheltered because we weren't at war with the Portuguese as well. And in the interior, they didn't really want to get too busy. They were more focused on the coast. So that's how we lived back then, based off our belief systems. And those that believed in enslaving others and enslaving people, right? The Portuguese, they were following the same faith, which has its origins in the same region, which is close to where our people civilization originated from. That's how connected they were. It traveled north, came back in a different shape, from the East Coast, where they encountered it again. And then because their belief systems have got some similarities, the language barrier wasn't insurmountable. So what I'm trying to say to you is that many people of many different religions and ethnicities have been able to live together in harmony and build a nation. Where post the ethno-nationalism, feudalism era, we're post that. Now we've got new national identities. And we must embrace that. I'm a mix.
I contest and I debate that.
I'm not Pedi.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm Tsonga, right? From my father's side. Both his parents are Tsonga. My mother is Xhosa and Sotho mix.
So,
which is practically the same thing, because Xhosas and Sothos are all the same people. They all come from the same people.
So I contest that you are.
And also with that whole entire argument, all South Africans have got indigenous, native, or whatever they call it, the so-called Khoisan ancestry.
Yeah.
All of us have it in varying degrees.
Of course.
All of us. We're all the same people. We've mixed up for many millennia.
Of course, and the who are the Hadza? The Hadza is actually a perfect proof of that. We and the Sun, we are one people.
Yeah.
The Hadza, these people who are trending on social media who look like just you and I.
I haven't seen it.
Just these people who are eating stuff, uncooked meat and yeah, those are the Hadza. They speak the languages like the yes.
Yes. I was speaking about those people with Colonel Chris White. Have you seen him? That American who's been in South Africa, been making content for a while. Yeah, he's going to speak to the last speaker. I think she's 88 years old currently.
Yeah.
And she's the last living speaker of the language. So he's going to do a podcast and interview her. He's
when
also
is it?
contributing to a project. She's in the Northern Cape somewhere.
When is he doing it?
He's doing it today.
Today?
He just drove, he drove to Appington today. She's in Appington.
Appington is far, man. I was asking because I was interested.
He said so can go there.
No, King can go. It's 200 kilometers.
No, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about also the time. You can't just drive it anytime. See, the thing about driving to Kimberley, Appington, and Springbok, that road, is that the sun is right here in your driving view. The whole way on the road, the sun sets right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
So you can't drive that road during the day. And then at night, it's fucking cold.
It's a desert cold place.
You understand?
Desert,
so
it's hot
then,
during the day.
You understand? So you can't drive during the day. During the night, it's uncomfortable to drive when it's cold because you want to turn on the heater, and then that will make you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, but I love the North.
And then there's Springboks on your way between Kimberley and Dimity. There's wild animals. It's not sheep that are crossing. No, it's Springboks that are crossing the road. You might crash into a Springbok on the highway. And those things, they can jump right into your windscreen.
Yeah, but I loved that place, man. But I think
Yeah.
I think just to wrap this up is,
I love that place too. No, I haven't visited in a while. In fact, I'm supposed to go there very soon. I'm flying to Kimberley very soon.
the guys are doing, those Gauta BMX boys who were going from
Oh,
Limpopo
they went to the skate park there.
Yeah, no, now the guys in Khalishiwe, they're riding bikes. It's about 2,000 kilometers across the Northern Cape. Remember how big the Northern Cape is? They want to do the Northern Cape in bicycles.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a monster.
Nice.
So, but then what I wanted to say is, I spoke to Dr. Litchfield Chabalala, and we spoke precisely about.
Is that your wife that just came back?
Yeah.
Okay, no. Oh, she's so understanding of your business. She walked, did the thing. We're recording. She didn't even greet her.
Yeah.
She didn't even look at us funny.
She knows. She knows. She knows. Yeah, this is my main cave. She knows. She comes, she takes the stuff, she leaves.
That's not her place. Okay, no. I need one of
this
these.
side of the house is
I
mine.
can see you got the golf club.
Yeah, no, man. Yeah, man.
Everything. Where's your TV here? You don't like TV, ne?
No, that's my TV.
I don't like TVs.
No,
By the way.
but in the living room, they've got their own TV.
Hey, it's 5 p.m. It's dinner
Yeah,
time.
I
prefer these. I don't like TVs.
Yeah, they've got their main TV.
You know.
They're much bigger for sports and stuff.
And my lady
This one
watches
is mine.
TV, loves TV. If she can leave for a month, 2 months, that TV will not be turned on until she's back. I will not. I can sit in front of it. I can sit in the lounge. The TV.
Why did you use turn on and not switch on?
Because
but you are
the remote.
Yeah, pressing.
No, it's switched on.
Yeah.
But you have to turn it on and off with the remote. It's still on. It's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The red button is. I mean, the red light is on, but you need to.
So you prefer to turn on?
Yeah, I prefer to turn on, not switch on. I like there to be at least a current, some electricity, some physics, not chemistry.
Sharp. So in concluding of this religious point, there's something it's now being pursued, and that's why I say I spoke to Dr. Litchfield Chabalala, who ke motho wa semoya, and she believes spirituality is our thing to emancipate
I'm on
us.
Moya.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
people must go and watch that episode as well.
Yeah. When are you releasing today?
No, it's coming out on the date that you're seeing here.
Yeah.
Is the date that it's coming out at 8 p.m.
Okay.
But since you're going to see this at the next date,
you
can go back to it because it's still going to be there.
So
thank you to our distribution partner at YouTube.
So let me tell you, I have doubts in whether it's organized religion, whether Kesemoya or Fuch Semoya is not, spirituality is not organized.
Now, what do they need to organize? They need PhDs in that theology. In that African theology, they need PhDs. Where are they going to get those PhDs? Because they're not being offered at UCT, they're not being offered at MUT, Mangosuthu University of Technology, they're not being offered, well, I mean, that's a technology university, okay, but either way, you get what I'm saying. They're not being offered at Howard College, they're not being offered in Pietermaritzburg, they're not being offered at UFS, they're not being offered at any of these places. So that's why we need our own postgraduate, so that we can deal with the STEM field in PhD. We can deal with our theology, we can deal with our spirituality, we can deal with our politics, we can deal with our African philosophy. All of those things at that level, at PhD level. Why do we do that? So that we can have something to teach. So that we can have these young kids that are going and now they're going to university, they don't know what to study. Why? Because we haven't created the courses that would absorb them. Now they're studying things that are useless, that are going to get them into indentured servitude to the capitalist system, which is already trying to get them out of work by automating, mechanizing, adding artificial intelligence to the mix, robots, digitalization and digitization. Two big problems and two big challenges. But because we're not training the next Professor Litchfield Chabalalas who've got a professorship from an established postgraduate institution is built by us, designed by us,
So
That's why we can't design our own curriculum. Because we don't have... Do you understand what I'm saying? We have to adopt it from somewhere else. We have to look at international best practice.
Most when you agree with Paseta must be.
I agree with it, but can you hear what I'm talking about? What is more important?
Yeah.
The things that I can't do, I don't even have an undergraduate degree. You know, I'm waiting for recognition of prior learning, so at least I can learn an MBA or do something.
You don't want to do the whole. You don't want to start.
I
from
don't
scratch.
need to. I've done the business part of it. I've established real things that are, you know, that have got commercial value, that are cultural. You know what I mean? As well, that are important. And I would not have been able to do that, right, if I had to now pursue the studying thing. So I sacrificed my journey through academia so I could excel in business. Do you understand? Because I saw that academia will only take me to empowering other businesses with my skills. And I said, no, I need to build businesses on their own that can stand alone so that my peers, my contemporaries who are studying can now have businesses that empower our community to work in with those skills that they're acquiring from these academic institutions. We complement each other.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a marriage. You know what I mean? What you contribute to the marriage is completely different to what your wife contributes to the marriage. But whose contribution is worth more?
Us.
No, you understand?
Us.
There's some of the parts do not equal the whole.
Okay.
Yes.
So then let's talk about diverting now, back to where we started. You had, you just said you lived with them, those Caucasians who left to foreign shores.
One of my favorite ones, Alex Lowe.
Yeah.
He left me. When did Alex leave us? Alex left us in grade 3. Yeah, he even posted a VCR tape, I still have it, of how life is his first couple of months in the United States. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee now. He's a developer. He used to work for Google. He worked there for a long time. Another one of them, well, I guess he's not white, but it seemed kind of white. He was Asian Chinese, Dale Pon. He's now the head of forensics in Toronto. At the Toronto Police Department. He's one of the top forensic specialists there. Nicholas Valter, he's now in France, in Paris. He's got a daughter. I think she's, 3 years old now. He's got a daughter, she's 3 years old. His birthday is 2 days after mine. I spent many days sleeping over at his house, especially when his mother died, when we were still young. She was of Portuguese origin from Lisbon. His father was of German origin. And then he got a British stepmother who had a younger sister who ended up becoming a single mother because she found herself a black boyfriend, which I didn't approve of already at that point in time. I still don't believe in racism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's Nicholas Valter. I think Daniel Valter. He is, their dad moved to the UK. Daniel, I think he's either in Australia or New Zealand, somewhere down there, and he does adventure stuff, you know. He was in the Arctic at some point in time, you know, also in Canada, in the mountains, in Vancouver as well. So he's traveling around. It's Donovan Preston, I mean, I used to stay over at his house during the week, you know. His mom had a severe drinking problem at the time after their parents divorced, and the father moved to Dubai, or the United Arab Emirates initially. Donovan moved to London when his father left the United Arab Emirates, moved to London as well. He's still in London. He makes music. There's Leighton, friend, but he's originally from Zimbabwe. But it's Zimbabwean that moved to South Africa. His father was fully Zimbabwean and his mother was South African, so they moved to South Africa. He ended up playing club cricket, the level below county cricket in the UK as well. He was trying to get himself a nice Colpack contract and hoped that he might be selected to either play for Zimbabwe or the Proteas at some point in time, but that didn't materialize. And I mean, he's old now. I think he should be 33 years old now. Who else?
Yeah.
You understand?
I understand.
You get that?
The reason I wanted to ask
I
you
can
that
name
question.
them.
Yes.
I know them.
I'm in my mid-40s. You are in your mid-30s.
Yeah.
I got surprised when...
Median.
I got surprised when, but he says it quite often. It's a long shot to being a friend to a white person. And a white person who's a billionaire, it's even more of a long shot. Do you've got Caucasian friends?
Yes, obviously. I just named it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you consider them friends?
Used to eat my mother's food. Do you understand what I'm saying? They used to sleep in our house. My dad used to wake us up all in the morning, take us to school, take us to soccer on the weekends and everything else. Those are my friends.
The reason I'm asking you is, like I said, I'm 46, and you are younger than me, and it's not foreign.
I was born with Mandela as a free man.
Yeah, it's not foreign to you to have this thing. For me, it's foreign, and I know my peers.
And I grew up around white people as well.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a black neighborhood. I grew up in a white neighborhood.
Yeah.
Only other black people that I saw were the children of servants who worked for my neighbors.
Yeah. So you moved into the burbs, or you were born there because your family went.
No, we only had permission as blacks to move into the burbs in 1991. My family got the land in 1991. It started in July 1991, where you could get the land. Okay. Yes.
So it's much of these things are not foreign to you. Do you think? You could have a mutual friend with a white person, like these guys in particular? I'm talking about the relationship between Penuel and Rob Hessoff. Can they really be friends?
No, they can't. They're not from the same class.
But Penuel, on more than one occasion, he calls him my friend.
No, they can't. They're not from the same class. It's impossible. They don't meet at the same level. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a class difference. That's why I'm saying that when I saw other black people in my neighborhood as a child growing up from when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, I knew that they went in the same class as us.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that these white people are their parents' bosses, just in the same way as my parents are white people's bosses.
Yes. I understand.
You understand what I'm saying? I knew exactly what it meant, and also, therefore, even when we played with them, or when I played with other children in the neighborhood, I knew that they are servants' children, so they don't have access to the things I've got access to. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I can't treat them the same. I can't say, oh, let's go blow up our balloons opposite Olivedale Clinic. There's a helium pump over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're like, oh, damn it, okay, we're going to have to ask for money for it. Don't worry.
I got this.
I got the balloons. Yeah, it was my little brother's birthday, whatever. We've got extra balloons at the house. So I would know that because I also had that same experience because I needed to go back and forth between the suburbs and the townships, and I've still got my cousins back there. And I'm also being programmed as a child that, hey, this is where we're living, this is the situation, this is your cousins, and this is how they're living differently. So, don't let this environment make you vulnerable to some of their teasing, or maybe they don't understand that, oh yes, you go to school with white kids and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Those are the sorts of things.
So that classism that you just explained
had to be explained to me.
Had to be explained.
Yes, I knew that we were not like other blacks.
I spoke about how you traversed your. You said your uncle was living in Olifantsfontein. Was that?
What?
Your uncle?
Which one? There's a different one. I've got one that's living at Olifantsfontein.
No, not that.
Yeah, he moved from Noordwijk to Randfontein to Blue Valley now.
So you would traverse all these. Yeah, these suburbs at the time, and then you would go to the township. So it's more equivalent of our kids now going to the villages, like real villages.
I do that. Yes. I go to the village as well.
Yes.
So I traverse all of that. I knew the township, I knew the city, I knew the suburbs. My aunt stayed in Hillbrow. Well, in Yeovil. She used to have an apartment in Hillbrow, which had a waterfall inside.
Not how
she had a pager.
Almost.
She had a pager. Beep, 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 beep.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So
back then.
Early 90s. Same as my uncle, the one that died when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
He had a pager as well. He had a pager, he had cars, gun houses everywhere. So my family in Soweto were involved in the underworld. That's how my uncles died. They died either in the middle of a raid, the police shot them, or they got killed or betrayed by their homies. That's our family business per se. You know.
I don't want to talk about your family.
No, they're all.
I want to
in
live.
the past.
I want to
They're
live
all
until
passed
I'm 60 years old.
No, they're past. Those people passed. I'm just saying that was back then during the struggle before we were born. That was that was it. So we had access to everything. I mean, like if the guy's robbing banks and robbing thingamajig and he's coming back home with a suitcase full of Rolex watches, he's taking us to Randy's show whenever we want to. He's taking us to the cinema whenever we like. Life is fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When my uncle was around, you could do everything. You could go to, if Gold Reef City is open, he'll take us there right now. He doesn't have a 9 to 5.
Let me take you back to the conversation we had with those gentlemen who were sitting down very quickly. They said that property that we spoke about.
Yeah, Buvetis.
Yeah. That property went from 1.8, 1.7, 1.5.
Now it's 800.
Now it's 800,000. And we're talking about a decent property from where it is. And like I told you, it's a chillers and it's a beautiful place.
It's investable, yeah.
Very, very investable.
It's a good
800,000.
Yeah.
Do you know that there are people who are afraid of acquiring such assets, especially if they want to go into that lifestyle?
No. Problem is they go into that alone. If you look at the Lebanese when they own clubs, you look at whatever, you name them.
They're afraid of the underworld when they're not.
No, the Eastern Europeans.
Yeah.
It's not one person.
Or you don't take out one person.
You have to go there as a group.
Oh.
You have to go there as a collective. It needs to be owned by the community. So that the community has got a vested interest in ensuring that that business does not do things that are destructive to the community, and also that it's protected and what you call and patronized by the community as well. So that's the thing, is that we don't think in group dynamics. We don't think network effects.
I have to be honest with you. I was surprised that property is going for 800. And I still don't believe, but I'll check it with the Vetis to say.
But 10 guys can go into it. Not because they want to go in together, but just because it's safer when there's 10 guys.
Going alone.
Because now when we look at the ownership structure and we know that Kimajita gas.
Yes.
So it's like,
taking them down one by one.
How much I won? You got 9 that are now looking for you.
Yes. I get you.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But now the problem is that we now get into those opportunities far away. Only when we are far away from our own gas, right?
Yes.
And now you do it, wherever.
Yes.
Main lane or wherever.
Yes.
You understand? And now you have to be the one guy who's in a consortium with other guys, strangers that you don't know from different countries and everything else. You don't know where they get their money from. You didn't grow up with them. You understand? They're not going to be there at your mother's funeral, but you're doing business with them. Just imagine that. They're not going to be there at your mother's funeral, but you're doing business with them.
So, is it Mahuta the parliamentarian? It's not Mahuta. Eugene Kozak Mankan. He's
Mahuta, it's not.
It's not.
It's Zaini, Mandla, Gini, Jarosh, Zaini. Zain?
No.
Zain? No, listen. Zaini, Mandla,
Eugene.
Genie.
Genie is Eugene.
Jaros.
Day 4, yeah. So this one, the EFF parliamentarian, he said,
Eugene.
Eugene.
That's how you remember them. I just gave you a trick to remember them.
I remember them. I thought he had a Monica or something, but no, I know. It's Eugene Koza, right?
Yeah.
Is it Koza?
No, Eugene.
He's just...
Eugene Koza is the comedian. That's Trevor Noah's friend.
Ish. Yeah. Okay, now, it's fine. Let me come back. Eugene. So Eugene said, this thing is so dangerous that the artists in your industry as an artist, this thing get to be so dangerous. Yeah. And because once you get...
Oh, no. Let's not go there. You know why? I don't want to entertain that conversation. Yeah. Why? Because I don't want to get involved in it. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When DJ Somebody died, DJ Somebody is someone I know very well. You know, I spent a lot of time with him. On the road, he used to book us for gigs. Him and his partner Vetis, you know what I mean? Vetis is actually part of the guys who were the originators of Amapiano with Snow Deep. They were actually trying to convince Maporisa to do the album. I was actually at Maporisa's house when they came through to convince him to do this Amapiano thing. And he was like, yeah, but Rome is the wave. This is back in 2016. Vetis came through with Snow Deep. You know what I mean? They were playing this thing. It was called Breakbeat. It wasn't called Amapiano. And yeah, so they've been part of the music culture and everything else. Somebody, obviously, he was more involved in the taxi side of things, you know, that transportation business before he got into the side hustle of DJing. And then once he popped off. So it was what it was. And because, you know, he's like, he's a type of guy who, he's a vibe. He is the vibe.
Yeah.
Like, you understand what I'm saying? We'll be chilling at a hotel in fucking Taung. You understand? And then you'll see somebody walking in the distance and you're like, okay, yeah, we're about to have a nice time.
Sure.
You understand? You're in the middle of fucking nowhere. You know? So that's the type of a guy he is. So that type of guy is going to know a lot of people.
Yes.
That type of guy is going to be hated by a lot of people.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? So don't put somebody and his maverick character and then say this is now what's happening in the music industry. Yes, we know what happened with Woma R5 and everything else. But that's also, don't use Lokishi politics, the things that happen Kolokshi. You understand? Amongst people that live in that location.
Yeah.
You understand? That know each other, that know each other's grandparents. Remember I said?
I feel you.
You understand what I'm saying? And now they have their tiffs. We cannot now say, no, that's music industry. No, it's not music industry.
So it's not true. It's not true that
No.
the clubbing lifestyle, the night lifestyle, the celebrities.
No.
So it is safe.
The artists are making enough money to not want to get involved in the running of the clubs because they can see, they know. You understand what I'm saying? They know.
But the club running is still very dangerous.
What do you mean?
Being a nightclub owner.
Construction?
Construction, of course.
Soccer?
Not much for the players, but for the owners, yeah.
And the referees?
It's no.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah, but VAR.
And I know that wife of his, I've met her. I actually drove her.
Oh,
around.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. Like her son used to work with my former wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are you?
He actually works now. Still, I think he's a stylist and does stuff. He works at Warner Music.
Okay.
So maybe.
Yeah.
He works in music. His mom is part of some fraud scandal. Hey, maybe I was wrong.
So Gaten Mackenzie wants to bring VAR
to
South African football.
Yeah.
He wants to bring Live Golf. You know Live Golf?
Yeah.
The one
they've been working on that forever, but yeah. He wants to take credit for bringing Live Golf. Yes.
Come on, no, give them credit.
I'm fair. He wants to take credit. Let him take credit.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking credit. I take credit all the time when I want to take credit.
And he wants to bring Formula One.
Yes.
And Gaten, the thing I love about Gaten is a Razzmatazz kind of guy, like
he learned from Razzmatazz.
Yeah, like Razzmatazz. They want to make things happen.
No, he learned from Razzmatazz. He used to go to Razzmatazz's events.
Yes.
When Razzmatazz was Razzmatazz,
yes.
Gaten was there.
When they were Za.
Even then.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's why when I wrote my open letter to him, I mentioned all of those things.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm strategic. Now those other people that wrote an open letter to him, they wrote an open letter to poke fun at him.
Yeah.
Now I said, Chief, you gave me money in my hand. I ate from you, from your
Yes.
businesses. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand that you understand how this business works and how these things run. So I expect you to act like a person who knows what's going on. So please, tell her what you must.
Yeah.
Don't be scared of these guys.
So I want to tell you what all of these things, for me, the way I love Gaten, even if he brings one, even if one is successful, I would forgive him because I'm fine, because he understands sports and culture. When he released a list, when he came in, he released a list of artists who shout, who did not shout during COVID and stuff. As an industry person,
I was so happy that I did not apply. I knew that, you know what? I think I might have enough money not to put myself on this list. Because I can tell that whoever's going to get this money, they're going to be saying, yeah, Maruzile. Yeah.
So are you happy that list was released?
Yes. I'm happy that there's
Why would artists want to antagonize him for that? Because it seems like it's a genuine concern, and I've heard artists from your industry speaking better about that thing.
Because they know that they abuse the system. They know that they game the system.
And they always say politicians are not transparent, they want transparency. And there are certain artists who eat...
We've never seen them without makeup. You understand what I'm saying? Never seen
Yeah.
them without a weave, with their own natural hair.
Yeah.
Don't even know if those teeth are real.
Ish.
They won't know.
Ish. So there's this last one.
Made in Turkey.
There's this last one. Penuel.
No, those ones are real. I haven't felt them, but I can tell that she's not the type to go to Turkey.
Okay. You know what she spoke about?
What?
Penuel just spoke about, during June 16 and stuff. There were, June 16.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything, yes. Drinking school uniform.
Yeah, there was a problem with the young kids fighting the system and saying this liquor is going to get us into trouble. Let's close them.
The beer hall protests.
Yes. So they said, and she was unpicking
the beer halls, yes.
She was unpicking how it was systematic.
Now everyone's drinking liquor.
Yeah.
But I spoke about this, and Lona, you didn't listen to me. I said, how are you guys allowing this young boy, Nasty C, to be an ambassador for Johnny Walker?
Ish.
And then a couple months later, 21 kids die at Enyobeni Tavern. And I said, but now you've made Nasty C the ambassador of Jägermeister. And you've got Uncle Waffles as Jägermeister ambassador. Who listens to these kids? I don't listen to them. They're listened to by kids. I can't be listening to a 25-year-old, 26-year-old rapper. What has he gone through in life that can inform me as a 35-year-old man?
So,
do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
So now you're putting those people on TV. You say nothing about them because you're celebrating that, oh, he's getting a bag. And also, when these things are happening, Bob Penny, you are keeping quiet. When Nota has spoken about it and has been made it present in people's mind that these are the things that we need to speak about, and you've seen, and he's faced the consequences, he's been sued for millions of rands, he's spent time in prison and everything else, all of a sudden, now that you guys don't have a voice on radio, now that you guys don't have anything, any image to protect and everything else, now that you guys want to say fuck, you want to come with this, fuck you, all of you. Why? Let me tell you why. Because the man who's putting his own neck on the line, right, is the same man that you guys go onto the timeline and criticize when he's fighting for these things, when you guys are too afraid to do that. And now that he's broken the matrix and people are able to see, now you want to be like, yeah, no, we're about this. Fuck you, all of them. I don't want to hear about any of that shit. None of it. And plus, you're going onto that platform, which I've been on 4 times. I went on that platform 4 times. I boosted that platform to the point where it was serious enough for you fake-ass celebrities that think you know everything to now want to come onto that platform. Because I'm the type of person that sees the potential in this platform and the communication that we're having on these platforms. And understands that this guy, even though he's got 10 subscribers right now, doesn't mean that 5 years from now he won't have more. True. And it costs me nothing to just give him some of my time.
True story.
For some fuel.
What is interesting about what Penuel said, and I wanted to take a brain on, she's specifically speaking about now this thing has been offered to women. And women are the biggest consumers.
The brutal fruits. What? This
Penuel said it's a feminist kind of vibes.
No, but only and now that it suits her.
She has shackled the cage
only
now.
That it suits her. But let me tell you what. She doesn't want to name names, and she doesn't want to condemn.
She can't. She can't say bonang.
She must. That's what I do. That's why they sue me. It's not effective the way she's doing it, because we've forgotten about it. But when we see bonang, we don't see that you are poisoning our children. When we see Casper in your vest biliato, we're not saying you are poisoning our children, and you're ignoring our podcasters when they ask for photos, even though they say they love you. You know. You can't say that. And that's the problem. You need to be able to say that so that they put a face to the name. So when they see this person doing this Jägermeister thing, Penny said this. Because Penny has had 30-something years in the media industry. She's seen it. She's come and gone. And therefore she should be able to say those things. And she's an older sister to these young girls of today. But the problem is that these older women mislead the young girls. What Penny keep quiet just so that the young girls can go through worse than they went through.
They want to eat.
They're sinister. It's evil. It's disgusting what they do. And then they act as if they are holier than thou. They are better than people. It's sinister. When her and Tiki Mazwai were in trouble, I called her. I was like, hey, okay, I don't have money. Here's 2,000 rand to assist you with whatever fees you did. She didn't even tell Ntsiki. And then she left Ntsiki in the lurch in the middle of the case. She said, hey, let me be exited from this case and now I apologize. Ntsiki, you face it on your own.
Ish.
She did that to her own sister. Doesn't drink liquor. Want to act holier than thou on podcasts. Let your actions speak for you. Let your action. Mina, I paid the cost. You understand? I had to duck bullets. I had to leave my dad while he's on chemotherapy at the age of 70 in a foreign country. Make means for myself, survive. Come back home. Ensure that my dad is fine. Gets through his whatever chemo thing. You know what I mean? Face whatever legal challenges that I have to face. I never had to run away. I couldn't run away. I had to show that I'm not a fight risk as well. You know, all of these things. And still fight for my people. At the same time, all of those things together. What was Penuel complaining about not getting the jobs that they wanted? Not being treated well at the companies that they worked for. You're working for a company, why didn't you start your own? Like, are we serious? Are these institutions the be-all and end-all? That's why I'm saying is that we need that postgraduate institution. Why? So that we can put that inception in people's minds and say we give ourselves PhDs.
In closing, Penuel says it's difficult to fight for African people. It is tired because are the same people who fight you. Yeah. What's your sentiment around that as you close?
Well, I mean, it's fine. I'll still fight for him.
So you...
As ungrateful as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my calling has got nothing to do with whether people say donkey. Yeah. It's my purpose. It's not an external thing. It's not like, oh, now I feel like yes. No.
Something built inside.
It's much bigger than that.
Thank you
much
very
bigger
much.
Than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My people are worth more.
The Martian politically correctly Mutwile, he gave political lecture to his father when he was 4.
Yeah.
And you guys do not understand. When he was 2, he and his uncle went to see to receive a newborn baby, and he remembers everything.
Yeah.
That is Nota Nhlamulo Baloyi. Martian politically correct. Please write on the comments.
Like, subscribe, please support, add some thank you. Nothing less than 100 Rand. This man has got a lot of great work to do, and plus he needs to maintain this man cave and make money before his wife kicks him out.
Thank you very much. Eitada, Martian politically correct is been a long one. Thank you very much. Eitada.